Hey y'all, I'm Rumor. Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of my Voltron redesign. For those unaware, I posted a part 1 to this series of me redesigning / rewriting Voltron Legendary Defender to my own liking. And hopefully that you guys like it too. In that part 1, I did 4 of the 5 original paladins. Here, I'm actually gonna do Shiro, Allura, Coran, and Lotor. Wild choice, right? So I'm gonna go into this assuming you, the viewer, already knows some basics of the story of my changes. And if you don't, please go watch part 1. Teehee. I also explained what Voltron Legendary Defender is in part 1. If you also want to read that, I'm too lazy to redo that again. But something else I want to add is that shortly after posting that, I found out that the glass cupcakes incident wasn't actually real, as a comment pointed out, and I found out on my own. I don't know why I thought it was real. I think I was like literally 12 when it happened, so in addition, contrary to the first video, this one isn't gonna be really story heavy. It's more so gonna be detailing my thoughts and motives behind changes or my own design philosophy, because I actually really like these characters. Their stories are pretty good. There isn't much I'll change. I think their stories are mostly fine as they are. Anyways, that's enough said. Let's hop into it, starting with Shiro. Shiro is really the first of my redesigns that look nothing like the original character, because the rest, they kind of just look like the original characters, just with different hairstyles and different clothing. Shiro looks nothing like his animated counterpart. First thing on the list, more scars. Because in the story, he was captured and forced to do these gladiator battles. Oh my god, I've tried to record that like 5 times. I'm not doing that again. Anyways, so I find it kind of lame that he only has the one scar on his face in the original show, so I gave him a plethora of scars to show that he is battleborn. No, he isn't. He was actually forced to, but whatever. I also just made his design more disheveled and scruffy, because being forced to fight for your lives does something to you. You don't just get a clean shave afterwards and you're good. Like, he also has that matching dog tag necklace with Keith and Adam, because like I mentioned in part 1, Adam and Keith are like a little family, and he promised to adopt Keith and marry Adam when he came back from his Kerberos mission. Of course that didn't happen. You might also notice that he has a very tech cyberpunk outfit compared to the rest of the paladins. That was done on purpose, because one thing I didn't like about the design philosophy in the show is that it's very futuristic. I get it, it's an alien about future or whatever, but why are the people from Earth also dressed in this futuristic fashion? They look like they could be Altaians as well. So because of the pet peeve I've had, I decided to make the paladins from Earth, with the exception of Shiro, to look like they have clothes that you can grab from the rack at a thrift store or at stores right now. And the reason why Shiro has a very tech wear outfit is due to him losing his clothes after being forced to do gladiator battles. These are the clothes he's given by the Galran Empire, and the Galran Empire have very cyberpunk tech wear aesthetic in their clothing. I also changed his prosthetic arm to be just like a metal arm into this basically tube with a metal armature in it in the middle. This is because I want the Galran technology and the Altaian technology to have very different aesthetics from each other, to be able to more quickly differentiate them at a glance. And especially Shiro, I want his to look very quick and dirty due to just being something they threw on him, because he's a low-level gladiator. I think that's all I have to say on his redesign. For his story, I want it to practically be the exact same. He's still this level-headed leader who leads the team with grace and poise, who does struggle with PTSD from his time as a gladiator. The only thing I would change, y'all are gonna hate me for this, is that he stays dead, because that's clearly what the show wanted. They only brought him back because people liked him, but the story clearly had no use for him, so he was just shafted and sidelined he had no relevancy to the plot after his return. So I would keep him dead, because sad to say, his purpose as a character is over. I'm sorry, Keith, your dad's dead. Again. Oh, before I forget, another change I made to the story is that Shiro actually knew Keith's biological father before. He, Adam, and Keith's dad were actually all buddies in their garrison cadet days, and they kind of drifted apart. Of course, not Shiro and Adam. They obviously got together and were planning on getting married, but his dad kind of drifted away. And then when Shiro went to go perform basically like a wellness check on him, that's where he finds him dead and then little baby Keith abandoned. So he unofficially adopts Keith, and that's where their little family starts. That's all I have for Shiro for now. Here he is, a very handsome guy indeed. For Allura and Coran, I just went balls to the wall crazy with their design, because they're aliens and I want them to look super, super alien-like. Because in the original anime Defenders of the Universe, the Alteans were literally just humans. No alien things, to my knowledge, differences. And then in Legendary Defender, the only thing is that they had the little glowing marks and elf ears. But that's not enough in my opinion. I need more alien features. Another thing I added was a loose cultural framework to the aliens, like Alteans and Galaran inspiration to their clothing and aesthetics. Because I'm actually really bad at coming up with pure fantasy, pure sci-fi like clothing and designs. I need a little bit of a framework, or else it is gonna look like crap. So for Alteans, I took inspiration from Indian culture because I love their formal traditional wear. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm jealous. I also chose India as inspiration for Alteans because of the loose parallels to India being, it used to be a powerhouse of culture and academics back in the day, but due to colonization, they're not really on the big player stage now, which kind of resembles the lore of Altea, of it being a powerful empire with all this advanced technology, but then being taken over, and now they're basically extinct in the future and no one talks about them. And it's pretty obvious, but you might be able to see the Zelda inspiration on Allura, my redesign. I just like Zelda, okay? I like her design, so I just kind of stole it. Oops. And I didn't mention it before. This whole video is going to be overwhelmingly purple because I had this idea of associating purple specifically and bright pastels, bright neons with aliens in space, whereas the paladins have a very much natural earthy tones to their outfits and colors, even though they're very rainbow-esque. This is actually inspired by how nature, true blue pigment is actually the rarest color you'll find in nature. So I just thought that was a cool inspiration, just having a color be associated with space. Even though purple is the main color for Alteans and Galarans, I want Alteans to be a very cool tone purple, very pastel-y, whereas the Galarans is very much almost burgundy purple in contrast to the airy, cutesy lavender and lilacs of the Alteans. Another change is that I changed that cyan blue they use for all the technology in Voltron Legendary Defender for Altean technology into this seafoam green. What color is that? I don't know. To this green, because I really hate cyan. That's just a personal thing. I really hate cyan. And I gave her pink hair because I like pink. Teehee. As for Allura's story, I'm gonna keep it almost the exact same thing, and opposite of Shiro, I'm not gonna kill her off. That was stupid, Voltron. She's gonna live, and they're gonna sacrifice the Voltron robot at the end, because it made no sense at the end. She's gonna live. She's a survivor. She won't give up. I don't know. She still has a romance with Lotor. I'll get into that more in his section. I have a lot written for him. Get excited. And she's still besties with Lance. They, like I said, they do spa nights, they gossip. Other than that, that's all I got for Allura. I think she's a wonderfully written character who's a good person, does the best she can, but she still has realistic flaws, like her perfectionism that she forces upon others, like the Paladins, and her invert racism towards Galarans, and her getting basically betrayed because of her love blindness. Like, I think she's a great character. I wouldn't change her. She's perfect. Love her. Here she is. Go here and admire her. I know I do. She's beautiful. On to the next one. Like Allura, Coran's outfit is inspired by Indian culture with a little bit of like a futuristic twist to it. He has very alien features like Allura still. I don't know why I give him pupils. I took them away. I just forgot, I guess. And I kept his mustache and sideburns very integral to Coran. Just gave him curly hair. And I just inverted Allura's skin and hair color for Coran. He has pink skin and purple hair. And he has less embellishments compared to Allura because Allura, of course, is royalty. And Coran is just advisor, I think. I don't remember his title. And because I took away his little hair ahoge in the front, I felt like his head was missing something, so I gave him a peacock feather. I feel like it fits his very flamboyant personality and his explorer personality. I still like his little funny relationship with the paladins where he calls it number 1, number 2, based off his like ranking. I don't remember, I think it might have been height, but I think it's funny if he changes them like on a weekly basis depending on whoever's his favorite that week. I did give him gray hairs and wrinkles to show his age. We are not afraid of wrinkles in this household, okay? I love drawing wrinkles and other quote-unquote imperfections on skin because drawing bare-faced, baby-faced characters, it gets boring after a while. You gotta throw some spice into there. I can't say much about his potential storylines because Coran doesn't really have a story or anything. He's just a comedic relief, which I'm not hating on. I love Coran. And he just acts as a alien encyclopedia. He doesn't have too much of an important role, but I like to include him because I love him. That's all I gotta say. Here's Coran the gorgeous man. So for Lotor, you'll see my design process. I like to start out with silhouettes and do color blocking just to get colors and shapes right before I go in with details, and then like carving out some shapes with lines. And whereas Alteans are inspired by Indian culture, I want the Coran Empire to be inspired by Japanese culture because I just like Japanese aesthetics and culture. I don't know. And so I wanted Lotor to look like a samurai, which I went too hard in that direction at first. It didn't have enough futuristic cyberpunk elements for my liking. So then I got inspired by this picture of Kazuha. I don't know who the artist is. Please tell me. I don't know how to do Google reverse search. But that's all I'll say on designing him. I'll let the speed paint play out my design process and what I end up doing for him because I really want to get into his story. This is where I cooked, okay? I cooked up something diabolical. I made the nasty patty from SpongeBob. So like the show, I want Lotor to be a secret traitor bad guy to the Voltron team. Whereas, Zarkon is like the distant big bad who wants the Voltron Lions or whatever and wants to stop the Voltron so he can expand his empire. I want Lotor, instead of him just killing Zarkon in season 3, that was such a weird choice by the Voltron team writing staff. I want him to find Voltron about halfway through the story and actually join on their side to take down Zarkon, and then he becomes like a switch and bait bad guy like in the finale. And I know a lot of people actually wanted him to be a good guy because the show didn't really do a good job of showing him that, like, of him being capable of as a traitor. They just kind of made him like seem good and then all of a sudden betray them. But I actually want to go harder on the traitor aspect. He's a bad guy. Like, Zarkon may be the bad guy of the story, whatever, but you're gonna hate Lotor. So Lotor is actually exiled in the beginning, which he claims is because he refused to hurt innocent civilians back when he was a general. But the real reason is that he tried to usurp the throne, which Zarkon did not like, so he banished him. And he takes his highest ranking generals, which is his girl posse. They're actually all like half Coran/immigrants who face major discrimination while in the military. But Lotor is actually the only one who doesn't discriminate them and actually sees them as the capable officers that they are. So they are very loyal to him initially. And one thing I'm stealing from this show is his like weird Altean farm like thing, because in my version when he initially gets exiled, he wants to build his own like mech Voltron thing, but he needs enough quintessence to take over the Coran Empire / usurp Zarkon. He stumbles upon this pocket dimension where there's still Alteans, so he uses them to mine for quintessence instead of like extracting it from the Alteans and like killing them. That was weird. I think that's a little too evil for Lotor. But he just uses them basically as a labor force to mine quintessence, because in my version, quintessence is kind of like carbon in the sense that there's raw material of it all around the universe, but it's also an all-living organic alien life. So no one in the Coran Empire actually finds out about his Altean mining scheme, because everyone assumes Alteans are extinct because they went extinct 10,000 years ago, you know? So when he sees Voltron and meets them, he sees it as a great opportunity to further his goal. Both, he uses them to take down Zarkon, so he helps him in that goal. But then he also wants to steal Voltron, break it down basically to steal its quintessence for his own mech. So this is where Lotor and Allura's romance actually comes in. He thinks the best way to get them to trust him is to like romance one of them, especially their leader, Allura. But plot twist, this is part of the story where I also imagine Lance having like a Princess Yue moment from like Avatar, where he has a romance, but they can't be together due to external force with like some alien chick. I imagine her like probably becoming like a ruler of an alien planet, and then she just doesn't have time for a relationship, so they break up. So he's like down in the dumps because of that. This is where Lotor comes in with his scheming little brain, where he's like, what's better than romancing one of them is romancing two of the paladins to get them to trust me. So then he actually 2 times Lance and Allura, and they don't know it, so he's like cheating on them. I don't know, I feel like that's just a good way to show that he doesn't really have the best of morals. Like, not saying that all people who cheat are bad people necessarily, but cheating isn't a good thing, so it's a good indicator he's not a trustworthy person. And at some point, I haven't decided the reason behind it. I want Lotor to decide it's the best tactical move to announce his official relationship with Allura, and then Lance is like horrified, and he's planning on telling Allura, but then Lotor, being the bastard he is, he's like, well, you can't tell Allura because she'll hate you and she'll kick you off Voltron, and you don't want that either, do you? Basically, Lotor's whole thing is that he finds that Allura's and Lance's and the other paladins really, but mostly those two, their insecurities, and then uses them to gaslight them into doing what he wants. He's such an asshole. I love him though. And that was the last one for this video. Sorry I went on a tangent for Lotor. He was just the only one I had like an idea for different story for, because the other characters, they're great as they are. I wouldn't change anything about them except for, oh my god. Anyways, I digress. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, it helps out. If you want to see more of my art, follow my social medias. There'll be a link down below, mostly my Instagram, that's where I post the most.